a man with giant areolas, Mike Taylor.
I mean, yeah, they are. Look. Oh, God. All its glory. Look at that. Although I've gotten fatter over the years, and so my actually starting to look proportionate.
Okay.
When I was real skinny, they look more prominent, my pepperonis.
You're growing into them? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Wow.
Everything else is swollen up now, right? Okay. Around here.
Yeah.
The dad bod. And so they don't look as big as they used to. But welcome.
You can milk anything with nipples.
It is Fart Drop Thursday. It's Mike Taylor live with Nick Mantas. He's in here with me and DJ LG for the second day in a row. Nick has done a lot of TV in his career. He's a former strength and conditioning coach, we found out on Wednesday. Yeah. And now he is doing a lot of stuff with Locked On Spurs. Mm-hmm. Did a lot last season. He was like a roving guest host, analyzer, with Jeff Garcia and those guys at Ken's. And now he's just chilling, waiting on the next giant job, I guess, and
see what could be out there.
Right, very good. So it's Nick in here with us. And DJ LG, of course, you can like us, subscribe to us. We love you. It's free to do that. Become a member. We love members. We keep threatening to do a bunch of members-only content, which I'm on the verge of doing to entice people to become a member.
Interesting.
It's $6 a month to be a member of the show.
Come on, you cough up a bucket, cheap bastard.
And you can leave. You can unsubscribe anytime you want. Right. But it's just $6.
Sure.
And it automatically renews unless you stop it.
Okay.
That's the same thing. It's free to subscribe. $6 to be a member. And it's like, well, hell, shit. Why would I become a member if I can subscribe for free? Mm-hmm. Because that's where the members only content comes in.
Interesting.
We've been threatening to do that.
Okay.
And you just put a good idea in my head right before we started. I'm going to write this down. High school baseball.
Yes.
Video.
We need to see the video.
Mike Taylor, Jr., second base.
There's video that goes with that.
I need to see it. The people need to see it. We need to see how you were in high school. You need to analyze your skills.
There's me just acting all badass, you know? And then there's also a video of me fielding grounders.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's going to be pure gold.
It's real grainy. It's 1992.
That'll go viral.
It's 30-year-old video.
That's amazing.
I just found a good idea for members-only content. So there it is. Become a member, and you too can help me talk more about me on my show.
I've got a lot better at this YouTubing.
Okay. All right, so I have not updated my dog. Give me some latitude here. I want to talk sports for once.
Sure.
But I've had people that are like, hey, how's the dog situation? So earlier this week, I live in a condoplex, an enclosed condoplex with lots of people, very dog-friendly.
Sure.
And so it's the last place you want to let your dog run around with no leash.
Yeah.
You have a strict no-leash policy. You get caught with no leash, you're in trouble with the management. It was last Sunday, and I'm still hoarse, actually, 4 days later from screaming at my neighbor. I was so pissed off at him. I'm walking my dogs. Both of them are senior citizens. Both of them they're 10 and 11 years old. So they're just old school senior dogos who just, they do old man shit. You know, they go out, they take a dump, they go back in, they get on the couch and they watch TV. That's what they do now in their lives.
Right.
And so we're out there doing our business. And some idiot neighbor of mine decides he's going to let his dogs go out with no leash on. He probably had done it before. They'll be fine. They're sweet dogs, blah, 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 whatever. What happens? His Labrador sees my dogs, beelines from my old boy, jumps him, tears him all apart. He's full of sutures. He's got puncture holes all in him. He got real bad. He got his leg tore up pretty good. He had to have surgery to close him up.
Wow.
And so my girlfriend and I have been, she's been in there sleeping with him. Getting no sleep.
Right.
I've tried to take the day shift, and she's been doing nights, and it's been a nightmare. You know? And it's just one stupid decision by a guy to let his dogs out with no leash. It's just domino affected my life because it's like, well, now she had to post. She missed a day of work. We're having to rearrange schedules and get people to come feed him because someone needs to be there to make sure he's got the thing around his neck now. We got to make sure his sutures aren't coming open because he had one on his belly, well, I guess his side, that looked like it was starting to rip open a little bit. And we sent pictures to the vet. The vet said, well, just monitor him. If you want to bring him in, we can put a staple, but just make sure he just stays still because it's not bad enough where it won't just kind of close back on its own. You ever had like a big scab crack open on you and it oozes, it's been a fucking nightmare. Jesus. So it's just been off. And I was so upset, so pissed off, and I'm still kind of raspy because I was screaming at my neighbor because the guy, and he's a young guy, he's probably 22, 23. And did you watch Breaking Bad?
I've seen little bits of it, yeah.
It's Jesse Pinkman reincarnated.
Oh, God.
It's just, he looks like a badass, but we found out he's not. Because he like froze the other day.
Wow. He's
just standing there like, get off him, Charlie. Don't, Charlie. No, fucker, get in here and grab your dog.
Have control of your dog.
I've been flip-flops.
Yeah.
I'm trying to separate this dog. He's on my dog. And it was 2 dogs, by the way, that he had with no leash. So I finally get the first dog off my dog. And by that time, the other dog, then he jumps in. I'm like,
oh, God.
And I'm just, it's right by, there's a big community pool there in that hood, all these families. And I'm just, you motherfucker, get your fucking dog off my dog. I'm like, dude, get your fucking dog off my dog. Yeah. Get your effing dog.
Watch the language, little boy.
He's just shaking like a leaf. Just like, dude.
Do something.
Dude, I'm having, I think I hurt both. I kicked the hell out of his dog several times to get him off. And so I get the second dog off and he grabs the dog and runs back into his apartment. I was upset.
Right. Sure. Obviously. Yeah.
I was screaming on the other side of his door to come out.
Right.
I don't know what I was going to do. I just wanted to confront him verbally. And ask him why he did not put his dog on a leash. And ask him why he didn't help me get his dogs off my dog. But I had to get my dog medical attention. And I called the cops. They filed a report. But it's not criminal because I wasn't bitten. Right. In that melee.
It's property on property.
It is property.
Yeah.
It's a civil matter.
Right.
And so I filed a report with animal control, which, by the way, I think Friday, I think I might have the head of the animal control on our show, LG. I'll let you know that for sure later on.
Oh, you've gone full scorched earth with it, huh?
Well, here's the thing. Can I use what I do? I'll use what I do to get help. It's a fucked up world, But if I can help prevent this, sound like a humanitarian now. The point being, yes, if I can go and get a guy on my show,
right?
Maybe 4 people hear it and they decide, okay, I'm not going to put I'll make sure my dog's on a leash,
right?
Because people do it all the time,
yeah.
So yes, I might use my resources. I mean, I could tell you who I am. I'm Mike Taylor. You need to get me. It wasn't like that.
Go ahead and Google
Mike
me.
Taylor, Jr., second base.
Second base.
They reached out to me, by the way.
So, oh, okay.
I appreciate that. So anyway, I'm rambling because it's just been awful. It's just it's stressful. And filed a report with animal control. I obviously complained to my apartment landowners.
Yeah.
And it was Sunday, so they weren't even there. I had to wait the next day. Well, there's been an update, and it's not good for my neighbor. So. And it's 2 dudes that live there.
Okay.
They've been given a choice. And this was actually, I talked to it was the regional manager, that runs a bunch of different condoplexes. I talked to him and, they've been given 24 hours to remove their dogs from the premises permanently, or they've been given 72 hours for them to vacate the premises permanently.
Wow.
How about that? And that sucks.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. Keep your dog on a leash, I'm not a believer in going easy on somebody. I mean, do they feel bad? Sure.
Yeah.
Are they horrible humans? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe they're good dudes that live down there. But you fucked up. You got to I'm sorry, not sorry, if you lose your dog. Maybe you shouldn't have that dog if you're not responsible enough to put the damn thing on a leash.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry that you've been inconvenienced. I spent $1,276 on dog surgery this week that I didn't have.
Right.
My girlfriend's missed a day of work. Neither one of us has slept all week. He may have a setback because he's old. It takes us 30 minutes to take him out now because he he can barely walk, but he's got to get out to go potty.
Right.
You know, so it's just been my girlfriend's birthday is this week. We have weekend plans.
Oh God.
She doesn't know where we're going, but I had to spill the beans and say, by the way, Saturday I'm taking you somewhere,
right?
Because her birthday's today, and I'm just going to spend the weekend doing some stuff.
Yeah,
I may have to cancel if my dog can't be alone for a little bit. You know,
right.
I'll have my daughter go over and walk him and stuff.
Sure.
So the domino effect of my life, because you decided, they'll be fine without the leash. So I'm sorry, not sorry that you may lose your dog in the process. So that's where we are.
No, I hear you. And
Sucks.
think you hit something right on the head where it comes to if you cannot control your property, your animal, you do not deserve to have it. If you cannot make sure that you are driving a car safely, you may not deserve to have it.
You may not.
So I think that it leads into so many other things. And so
yeah.
Hopefully everything can be resolved and you guys can get them to either pay for the the operation or anything like that. So if you'll handle that with lawyer situation and stuff like that.
So
but
I left something on his door, a letter.
Okay.
This is my name. This is my Venmo account. This is my phone number.
Gotcha.
If you'd like, I can provide you an itemized receipt from the veterinarian.
Sure.
But you owe me $1,276.
Right.
Does this kid have it? Probably not. Am I going to see a nickel? Probably not. Should I sue him? I don't know. He's a young dude. You know, I don't know. That's still being
you'll analyze
figured
that.
out. Yeah. I'll figure that out.
Right.
Probably never see a nickel back.
You never know.
You never know. We'll see. Anyway, so that's where it's at. So that's the update. He's doing better. He's slowly recovering. I think he's going to be okay. It's just going to be he's an old dog. So where even a young dog would need a couple of weeks to heal up, he may need a month.
Sure.
So this is going to affect us for weeks.
Yeah.
Trying to get him back to speed. So that's where the thing is, and that's it. And it's funny because this is, like I told you, he's like a Jesse Pinkman starter kit. This neighbor, he's got the bad. He dresses like he's a hood. He's got the long hoodies on. Well, the fucking he thinks he's a badass. And I've seen him out there before. His hat on. I'm gonna stereotype the shit out of him. He's got his hat on crooked, cocked to the side, like he's fucking Kevin Federline back 20 years ago. You know who Kevin Federline is?
Yeah.
He's Eminem if Eminem had never gotten famous. And it's just funny because when the shit went down, all that gangster shit he likes to portray, we saw the real deal. He shook like a bitch. So he's got sugar in his britches. So why don't you not dress like that since you look the part, but
Biatch.
Anyway, that's it. That's it. All right. I want to promote our new segment, by the way, and we'll get into other stuff. But we have a new segment called Taylor Trash. And it's its own thing. It's now we have a whole YouTube channel here and Spotify, of course. But on our YouTube channel, we have a whole channel to put anything we want on there. And so now Monday through Friday, each day you're going to get an extended or you're going to get a separate segment called Taylor Trash, and it's going to start dropping every weekday in the afternoon, right, Lawrence? Ish.
Yeah.
Around
as soon as I get it up there.
As soon as he gets it up there. Yeah. And I'll hype it, we'll promote it, and we'll
as soon as I can get it up.
All right, cool. And we'll retweet that too. All right, show brought to you in part by Hank the Realtor, the official real estate agent of Thunderdome. Hank Perez. You have to fight through this live spot. Hank Perez from Vortex Realty. He serves all of San Antonio and all over the hinterlands, Bernie and New Braunfels, all the way to the north, and then down south with Pleasantville and Castroville and all the villes. There is a shortage of homes in this town. If you're thinking about selling, taking advantage and getting some equity in your house, Hank will run the comps on your property for free. Tell him you are Thunderdome and get what's called in that business a free market analysis. He will run the comps, see what your property is worth, and if you are ready to sell, Hank's your dude. If you're ready to buy, Hank's your dude. Maybe your buddy, maybe your neighbor, maybe you're getting divorced. I mean, a lot of his people that he deals with are dudes that are having to move for bad reasons. And it's Hank the Realtor, Vortex Realty. The number's 31121. Of course, the area code's 210. Text Hank and give him your information when he replies to you, and he'll run comps on your property and see what it's worth. And if you make the decision to go forth, he's your guy. When you need a real estate agent, call Hank.
His name is Hank.
They don't do that in television.
No, they do not.
No, they don't.
No.
But, I respect television because of how professional it is.
We try to be.
I don't think I could do it.
It's
not in me. I don't have that gene.
Yeah, you got to fight through, not just like that spot that we just had.
It's
tough.
By the way. It's hard because what is it? What's the little thing? IFB?
It's an IFB, the little FBI,
FBI.
little.
Yeah, it was like you're in the Secret
Service little,
How
thing.
many voices are in your head when you're like doing let's say you're at a game and
Sure.
they're going to go to you.
Yeah.
You got voices talking to you, right?
Usually 2 to 3.
Damn.
That are in your because not only maybe 4 if you are telling yourself what you want to ask the next person, the question or something, but you have your producer or who's going to be talking to you about, hey, we're going to you next.
Yeah.
You have the anchor who's tossing to you.
Yep.
You have the director who's saying, hey, we're 30 out. So there's your 3 people, and then you have to remember what you were asking. And you got to listen to them the entire time.
And a lot of times you're at a game and it's loud.
Oh, and there's people in front of you watching you.
Yeah.
And people with their phones and stuff like that.
Idiots doing this.
Exactly, right? Exactly. So so it's a whole process of
What's
just
your
like
name?
concentration and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's tough. It's tough.
Got a good story. So I went to a broadcasters camp in 1997.
Ooh.
I was a young man. I was a little older than Mike Taylor Jr., second base.
Right.
Mike Taylor Jr., second base.
I decided I went to this broadcasters camp out in Los Angeles.
Okay.
Spent a week out there, and this is back when I wanted to be a play-by-play guy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Then I realized that I wasn't very good at it. I was so-so, but not good enough to where I could do it.
Right.
But
Yeah.
they sent us out there. It was a week-long camp. They said I called 2 NBA Summer League games,
Okay.
which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
At Long Beach State, that's where they had it that particular summer.
Cool. Yeah.
And I got really lucky because I'm a Dallas kid, and so they sent me out there, and I'm all nervous. Oh my God, it was a fake play-by-play. It was into a tape recorder.
Yeah.
But it's at the game. It's
Right.
courtside.
Right.
And then your instructor, he listens and he critiques you. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so I'm all nervous, and I get out there, and the game they assigned me was Blazers Mavericks.
Ooh.
And I'm like, oh, thank God, because I paid attention to the Mavs.
Right.
I knew everything about their summer league roster. It made me sound better, so that was fun.
Yeah.
But at the end of it, we did all this shit, but we did a fake television. Is where I'm going with this, where I was an anchor.
Oh.
And I read a teleprompter and the whole bit. Wore a suit. They put makeup on me.
Love it.
And I did that. That was fun.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was any good, but it was fun.
Sure.
And my accent don't help.
You ain't going to do that.
I mean, maybe an Abilene, I'll be fine.
Sure.
But then we also did an on-the-scene fake report, which
Yeah.
I'm pretty good at those. I can do those pretty good.
Yeah.
But at the end of the week, who Chris Myers is?
Yeah.
Longtime Fox Sports guy. Been there forever. Chris Myers. He was huge in those. I think he was on Sports Center actually with ESPN then. He was like our keynote speaker at the end of the week.
Cool.
And he told this story of Chris Berman. And this to give an idea of how lots of people can do television, few can do it great. And then you got the elite of the elite.
Right.
Because those guys make it look easy because they have shit tons of talent. So it was Chris's lesson was you have to put the work in. You have to bust your ass. You have to practice. You have to do the work.
Yeah.
You're not Chris Berman. So he told the story of Berman, and obviously you know who Chris Berman is.
Yeah.
So Berman, he says, okay, he got sent down to cover the Super Bowl on the Saturday before the Super Bowl on Sports Center. So he's down there with Berman, and they get down there on Friday afternoon. They fly into Miami at Joe Robbie, the old Joe Robbie Coliseum, which no longer exists.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, 1990 or something, 91. I think it was Giants Redskins, I want to say.
Okay.
Jeff Hostetler's Giants. And so anyway, they fly in on Friday afternoon. And they had a production meeting Friday evening because on Saturday morning ESPN was going to go wall to wall from the Super Bowl. Obviously the game being on Sunday.
Right.
They were going to hype the Super Bowl all day Saturday, so they sent their big horse down there, Chris Berman.
Right.
And they sent Chris Myers down there to kind of intersperse with Chris Berman. And so they go to the production meeting, and Berman's like, "Cool, you want to go out? I rented a car. Let's go partying. We're going to go to South Beach." And Myers is like, "No, man. I think I'm just going to hang at the hotel.
Sure.
I need to get rest because we have a 6 a.m.
Call time.
Wow. 6 a.m. because they're on the air at 7.
Oh my
Their
God.
first report on Sports Center at the heyday of ESPN Sports Center is this was their biggest horse.
What a different time.
Such a time.
Yeah.
7 a.m. We're going to go to Chris Berman live outside of the stadium to hype the Super Bowl that Sunday.
Yeah.
And Berman was like, I know our call time's at 6. I'm still going out. Come on, let's go, Myers.
It's Miami. Let's get after it.
So Chris Myers like, okay, I'll have one beer with you at a steakhouse. and Myers is like, he could tell Berman was not going back to the hotel.
Right.
On Friday night. But Myers is like, he made the decision best for him. Like, cool, caught a cab, back to the hotel, went to bed at 10, got a good night's rest, got up at 5 a.m., got ready, and got to the stadium Saturday morning at 6 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
So Myers goes in there, and they're putting a suit on him, and he's in the little truck, and they put makeup on him. It's like 6:20 at this point. And Myers comes out, and they're like, have you seen Berman? No. Weren't you with him last night? For a little bit. I went back to the room at like 10.
Right.
They're like, Chris Berman had not even called in.
Oh my gosh.
And they called the hotel, and they're like, Mr. Berman has not been here. The bed was still made. He had never gone back
to
the hotel.
Wow.
No, he never went back.
Wow.
And they're freaking out. Now it's like 6:45, and the hit is at 7.
Oh, no.
So they tell Myers, you got to do the hit. He's like, I'm not supposed to do the first hit. I'm not prepared to do the first hit.
Right.
Because Myers was like, he was going to go like at 7:45.
Oh.
They were going to go back and forth, and they had different content.
Yeah. They're
like, we don't know if Berman's alive or dead. And so it's like 6:55, and Myers is standing on the spot. Sports Center's getting ready to start.
Yeah.
Saturday morning Sports Center, which is one of the most watched sports centers they had, maybe the most watched, Saturday morning.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, a fucking rented Cadillac comes cruising around. True story. And Myers is like, I swear to God, on my mother, this is true. There's balloon streamers hanging out of the back of the window in this Cadillac. God knows why, but all these balloons were hanging out of the window.
That's amazing.
Here's Berman. He's driving. Pulls up. He gets out. He's got the same suit on from the night before.
Right.
And his hair is all fucked up. And he's like combing his hair. And he's like, what time is it? Dude, it's 6:57. He's like, okay, I got it. No, man, the producers were telling him, no, you can't. He's like, fuck you. And Berman was hard.
Yeah.
Off the air to his people.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
There's video and audio to prove it.
Right.
Because people got tired of him being an asshole, and they posted it one year on Twitter.
The construction. Yeah.
Yeah. Berman was like, fuck you, I'm doing my spot. Where's my spot? So he's putting Visine, and he's brushing his hair, and okay, where's my mark? Dude, we're on in 30 seconds. He's like, okay, that's fine. Okay, and all of a sudden, hi, I'm Chris Berman, live at Joe Robbie Coliseum tonight, where the Redskins and Giants will take on each other in Super Bowl 26. Jeff Hostetler that, Mark Rippon this, and fucking nailed it.
Just mic drop.
Going to bed. He went back to the hotel. Myers, you got it, and went back, took a nap.
That was such a different time, too.
Different time.
But at the same time, what's so interesting from my perspective is I keep on thinking as you go down, as you're going minute by minute, going up to it, I'm like, okay, he's got 3. He's got 3 minutes. My TV mindset, I'm like, okay, he's got 3 minutes. That's fine.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, he's got 30. All right. And then it's like, okay, now we're on in like 10. 10 is when you start freaking out. Like 10 seconds.
Yeah, for sure.
That's where it's like, okay, like now we should start running.
Yeah.
There have been times where I have literally turned my mic on at 10 seconds walking out to the set. Because we had something that was so crazy we had to get on.
Yeah.
Within the last 5 minutes before we hit at my last station I was working at in Lansing, Michigan, the news broke at like 11:05. So I had to type up something, I had to get the graphic for it, I had to get the video for it, and send it to the show by the time we hit at 11:15. Sports came on.
Yeah.
So I called my producer and I told somebody, I just said, hey, I called my producer on the other side of the building, and I said, hey, listen, could you have the news tease sports and tell them to say this? And they're like, sure, cool, no problem. I got in there, I wrote what they needed to say, they went and said it. I come out literally within 10 seconds after coming out of commercial break to start sports.
Yeah.
And I had my mic, just turned it on, boom, clicked the thing closed, Go on, bang, and we roll.
Yeah.
And it's all in front of me. What he had
yeah.
to do was completely off the dome, which is so much more
And
talent.
Myers' point was, you're not Chris Berman.
Right.
Chris can do that. You cannot.
You can't
so
do
you
that.
young wannabes,
Right.
do not do that. You know, and he saved Berman's butt because he wound up doing more hits that Berman was supposed to do because he needed to go get some sleep.
Yeah.
But that was Chris Berman. It was back in the 90s when
Right.
he was the King Kong of sports media.
It's called cocaine.
He and Dan Patrick. All right, that's it. I have a lot of respect for you guys, the TV people, because it looks easy because you're good at it.
Thank you.
If you were not, it would look hard. You wouldn't be out there.
Right. We do really do, in the time that we have, the process that we go through, try to make it look as easy as possible, so it looks natural as possible.
Right.
So I can come off to the camera and look as poetic and well put together, because you should just have that relationship with somebody on air. You know, so the viewer can be like, oh, he's like really connecting with me.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to watch him more. So that's part of the process as well, is feeling natural.
Yeah, and what makes me crazy as a viewer is like, and you see it all the time, and I love to give TV people shit, especially the women, you know. So
because you're you,
and it's me, but I love when like now all of a sudden now you need to kill 5 seconds and just make some small talk. You know,
the crosstalk is
it's
always awkward.
Awful it is.
It's always awkward.
My God, just ask him how the weather is.
Right.
It's going to be super hot, right, Steve? I had to make sure that I brought my short sleeve shirt today. Why can't you? How about that weather, Steve?
There are some times where
super hot, right? Dude, just it's 5
tough.
seconds.
It's tough.
Yeah. It's
and
so awkward sometimes.
What helps with it is sometimes in certain newsrooms, depending on the building, they'll have the weather team is in their own section.
Yeah, you can't see them.
The news anchors are in their own section. The sports is in their own section, right? I've been in newsrooms where it's completely open. There's no walls. So that gives everybody the ability to talk to each other and get to know each other. And be like, oh, you like tacos. His mom has a taco shop. And then you walk over and talk to the weather guy. You get to build the relationship.
Yeah.
As you get to build more of that relationship or get to talk to somebody about sports, they'll have more of an interest in it. And then they can build a relationship from it. And then it becomes so much more natural.
Yeah.
So in moments where you look really cringy, it's like, oh, they don't hang out. They don't know each other.
Right.
And that's just part of the process of sometimes. Sometimes it just happens like that because you're so busy. You don't get an opportunity to really build a relationship with who's in your newsroom.
Sure. Right.
And that's you could see it.
Sure.
Yeah, you can see it on
okay.
air.
There's no more teleprompter.
Right.
Just ask him how he's doing.
Right.
Just pitch to the way.
It's tough. Yeah.
When are we going to get rid of these 100-degree days, Don? Well,
boom.
That's it. That's all you have to say.
Simple.
It's easy. All right, but it's not easy.
Right.
It's not. All right. Show brought to you in part by Elite Collision. The official collision center of Thunderdome is Elite Collision of Barney, north of the Rim, off of I-10, locally owned and operated by San Antonio people. If you've been in an auto accident, call the longtime Thunderdomers of Elite Collision of Barney. Just a couple of minutes up north past the Rim off of I-10, exit 542 in Barney. They work with all insurances and, of course, do private pay. So if you got some collision issues, you've got a fender bender, hail damage, need some paint. Obviously, a lot of these times you got to have a paint job to fix it all up, too. They do that, too. It is Elite Collision of Barney. When your car gets beat, call Elite. All right. So you've been in Texas for almost a year.
Yeah. 8 months now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you, I'm sure the answer is yes. Have you noticed that we are just as wild-ass, crazy, hardcore, dedicated, and insane about the Cowboys as Dallas is?
Yes.
It is unbelievable.
How about them Cowboys?
It's wild to me because of the geographical connection with it. Because you would think, but also
you think they played here.
Right. And I also think about, like, okay, the success this team has had before the Texans were even a thing. Before the Oilers were even a thing.
Sure.
You know, you had that connection to the Cowboys and the success that we had. So you're going to have fans of Texas or just Texas football in general who are going to be fans of a program like the Cowboys have. And so it makes sense, but geographically it's interesting.
It's crazy. It's crazy good. It's funny because like the Cowboys have done statistical analysis in Bexar County.
Okay.
Where they actually, this is back when they were doing training camp at the Alamo Bowl.
Oh, okay.
And then Jerry decided, well, I need to get back up to Nobu, so we're going back up.
Let's go have some lobster and
Oxnard, 70 degrees. It's fucking hot in San Antonio. Anyway, but when they were at the Alamo Dome, they would do studies on who's a Cowboys fan in Bexar County.
Okay.
And so they would go interview they just go up to 1,000 people on the street.
Yeah.
Question one was, are you a fan of the NFL? If the answer was yes, then it was, who's your favorite team? Okay. And the Cowboys used to say, I guess it's the Cowboys, but I think it's pretty accurate.
Sure.
Pound for pound, anyway, per capita, there are more Cowboys fans in Bexar County than Dallas County.
Wow.
Now, there's more Cowboys fans in Dallas County and Fort Worth, Dallas.
Sure.
I call it Fort Worth, Dallas, not Dallas, Fort Worth. I'm from Fort Worth.
Yeah,
so Fort Worth
got to put that in there.
That comes first. There's more people up there
Right.
in those two counties. But the percentage of people who claim to be a Cowboy fan is actually less, based on the Cowboys data, than here. Because you have a lot of transplants up there in Dallas.
Okay.
And down here we don't have as many. There are some, but not like up there.
Sure.
Brutal Cowboys. It is family down here, man. They go ape shit for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
If the Cowboys ever got good again, ever, like really good, and went to the Super Bowl, I don't.
Back-to-back seasons with more than 10 wins. So
this will piss some people off, but
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're more popular than the Spurs, but the mood in the town would rival whenever the Spurs win the NBA Finals. Spurs! Especially because it's been so long since the Cowboys won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
If they ever won the Super Bowl,
yeah.
we might have a damn ticker tape parade, even though they're without them, just
Sure.
because we love the Cowboys so hard.
Honking down Commerce Street?
No question.
Yeah.
No question.
Okay.
I don't know. I think when the Cowboys are on, and you've been here since December,
Yeah.
and Kins will get a 32 during a Cowboy game on a Sunday.
Wow.
It's same as Dallas.
Yeah.
If not, it's always
The rating of it,
You
yeah.
always see the ratings.
Yeah.
In every Cowboy game, it's the Cowboys are the Cowboys.
Sure.
And we're always right there after Dallas.
Right.
And close even.
Sure.
The play stops down. There was a couple of times. I'm just picking on Kins. I don't mean to. I support Kins, but they'd have there was a couple of times where they made the decision to dump out of a Cowboys game mid-fourth quarter because the Texans were coming on CBS.
Oh, my.
The flood of calls.
No.
Well, it's 31-10. That game's been decided. We got the Houston game.
You finish it.
No.
You finish it.
Not cut off the Cowboys in San Antonio.
Oof.
All right, so do you keep up with them at all?
I have, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
You should, just
Absolutely.
in case.
Just being right here in the area.
And I've hated not being in Oxnard. I'm not in radio anymore, but
Sure.
not that they ever sent me anyway. Back in the day, I would cover training camp all the time. And so I don't take a lot out of training camp. But I am getting to the point now where I'm ready for Zach Martin to go ahead and get back.
Yeah.
Although
big.
I don't think they're going to cave. He's going to have to cave.
There is some rumors that he's talking with them.
He may get a few more pennies, but I don't think where he wants.
Right. And I think comes to a reality of the situation of knowing, yes, you are one of the premier offensive linemen in this league. Yes, you deserve to be paid at a very high level. Those are all true. You have the right to do what you feel is right. But when it comes to being on a team like this, where the priority is always going to be the skill players themselves, and knowing that those guys need to get paid before he gets paid, I've seen a lot of people talk about there's a line. Somebody was talking about this the other day. There's an order in which this goes. And so there's a thought of, okay, well, we thought we had you under a contract you were happy with. Sure, as we move forward, we want to definitely pay you more, but maybe he's looking at this from the perspective, and I, haven't talked to him. They're connected with him in any way, but maybe he's looking at it and saying he knows that he might not have a couple more years left. He might not be able to wait until these guys have all gotten paid.
Yeah.
Because he might be out of league by then.
Sure, which is why they're not going to pay him.
Exactly.
You're old.
Exactly. So there's the juxtaposition between, he wants to get paid, but they're great with what he's doing right now. But when it comes to the timing of when he's actually going to get paid, they're not going to pay him what he's going to want.
Right. The Cowboys have gotten more ruthless with their guys over the years.
Yeah.
And I've said this for years. I think the last stupid-ass contract that Jerry gave was Zeke's. That was ridiculous.
Yeah.
He played them.
Well, once you're one of Jerry's guys, you're in.
And it's ridiculous.
You lock in and you
thank
connect
God
with them.
is not as much the case. He may still try to make arguments in the room for his guys,
Right.
but he gets overruled by his son. You watch Yellowstone. He's John Dutton, but near death. So the Suns are finally like, no, okay, somebody wipe his mouth. He's got something on his lip. We're not doing that. He wanted to draft Johnny Manziel.
Right.
Now, Steven almost got into a fist fight with him over, fuck, we're not drafting Johnny Manziel.
Right.
I need to go watch the documentary, by the way. I can't wait to see it. He's entertaining. He don't need to be playing for quarterback for the Cowboys. You know, so, I mean, this is a team that benched and then cut Tony Romo, one of Jerry's guys.
Yeah.
We just saw DeMarcus Ware get inducted into the Hall of Fame. The Cowboys released DeMarcus Ware when he was still coming out of his prime.
Right.
But he hit a certain age.
Yep.
The salary cap sucks. It doesn't matter if the Cowboys are worth $20 billion. The cap is the cap is the cap. And they've done a better job managing Jerry so they can manage their cap. If Zach Martin played right tackle, I think maybe they cave more.
Sure.
But he plays right guard. And as great as he is at it, and I'm not trying to diminish the chemistry of an offensive line, I don't want Zach Martin to miss games.
Especially with a team that wants to run the ball more now this year.
That's correct. I understand. But you just don't – guards don't get paid. Not like you said, 7 other positions get more money than those guys. And
right.
You're 32, man.
Do you think that Jerry is kind of looking at it from the perspective of the way in which Leonardo DiCaprio does dating? So once you hit a certain age, does he just cut him off?
I want me some glory hole.
Yeah, and not gray-haired glory hole neither.
So he has a certain age limit to where he's like, okay.
And that's the way it has to be in the league, man. Okay. You know, you look around the NFL, and I say this all the time too, the teams that win all the time do the things that win all the time do.
Yeah.
The teams that lose all the time, they do the things that teams that lose all the time do.
Yeah.
You have to be ruthless. It sucks, but it's true. Look, how many future Hall of Famers get released every summer? They still have time in the league. How many guys get cut like that, you know? Right. And it is what it is. Look at the running back scenario now where you've got guys that are elite at what they do, but because there's a whole bunch of other good ones out there and most teams are passing teams, we're not going to pay running backs. But no one's going to do it. And if the ones that are going to win, they don't pay them. Look at the Giants. No. Go ahead and sit out. Yeah. And what did he do? He caved. Saquon Barkley. Fine, I'll come back for one more year.
$900,000 later.
Yeah, sure. And if he's not on the team next year, they don't give a shit. They got to develop Daniel Jones. They got to take care of their tackles. They got to take care of their outside edge guy. They got to take care of their best wide receiver. That's the way it goes.
They're going to find the next Bijan Robinson. They're out of some school that's got a great back, and they're going to bring him in. And
that's another example. Atlanta, I don't. That was dumb. I love Bijan Robinson. You don't take Bijan Robinson in the top 10 of the draft. It's insane. He's not going to lead you to anything. He plays a position. If he was a wide receiver, it'd be different.
We got to clip that off. In case he does do something this
year.
Go
ahead. I will
flip it off.
Go for it. He will. They won't do any winning because of him. Who started last year for the Chiefs? Isaiah Pacheco, 7th round pick. I mean,
Rutgers, Piscataway, New Jersey.
Look at that. Piscataway, New Jersey. All right. So it's Nick Mantas in here with us today. He also he's done some Spurs stuff, which I want to get into some Spurs stuff with you. But Spurs. I'm going to segue into my next live spot. My boy, again, because Nick's a new guy in town.
Yes.
If y'all decide to stay, you decide you need to buy a home at some point. God forbid you settle in all the different cities you've told me you've lived in.
Right.
Call me. I'll get you a good hookup on my mortgage guy. Brad Hardwick is my mortgage guy. Hardwick Mortgage. If you are thinking about upgrading or wondering how much can I afford, call Brad and get yourself pre-qualified and figure it out. Home values in this area have increased majorly in recent years. Use equity in your home to pay off other debts. Just stick cash in your pocket, whatever it is you need. Maybe you're in the market to go ahead and buy a home. They do that too, obviously. And Hardwick Mortgage, they'll shop across multiple lenders all over the city to get you the best deal. If you're looking to purchase a new or used manufactured home with land and property, Hardwick Mortgage. Maybe you just want to buy some acreage. Hardwick Mortgage is the guy too. This information is presented for informational purposes. This is not a commitment to lend or extend credit. Information and/or debts are subject to change without notice. All loans are subject to credit approval. Other restrictions may apply. As a result of refinancing, your total finance charges may be higher over the life of the loan. Visit Hardwick Mortgage for more information. It's Hardwick Financial Services, Inc., NMLS ID 1972012, hardwickmortgage.com. All right. So I do miss Zach Martin's leadership in the room, but they don't have a lack of it. They have got good leaders on that club.
Yeah.
Like if he were playing on a lot of other teams, those teams may cave and pay him just because they need dudes in the room.
Right.
I'm a big believer in chemistry. I am. I think guys can. I don't think guys can necessarily just like carry your room. There's not a lot of Ray Lewises out there.
Right.
But there's a lot of guys who can screw your room up too. Idiots in there with the wrong attitude. Guys like my neighbor who let their dogs out without leashes.
There it is.
Need better. I know. I'm sorry. It's been a long week.
gotta let it out. You gotta let it out any way that you can.
Prime
honestly.
example, in my opinion, is what's going on in Washington this week.
Oh yeah.
With Eric Bieniemy. Have you seen this?
I heard about that. Yeah.
So I still want the Redskins. I'm still trying to get that out of my mouth.
Commanders.
It'd be easier if Commanders weren't such a dumb name, and hopefully the new dude will move on from Commanders too, which he hinted he might.
He's thinking about it.
We'll see. I mean, it's hard to just like that. All being said,
right?
The poison in that room up there, after years of having that shitty culture,
right?
And I love Ron Rivera, and he's been half his job's cleaning up messes from the old shit. And so they bring in Eric Bieniemy, a guy who spent a decade with Andy Reid in Kansas City, almost known as one of the great preeminent offensive coordinators in the NFL.
Yep.
Could not get a head coaching job. Finally decided I need to go somewhere else so I can get out from under Andy's shadow. Because I think the number one reason why Bieniemy never got a head coaching job is because he didn't call plays. Andy Reid did. And teams didn't trust that he really was as good as advertised. So I think Bieniemy made the decision, I need to go be an offensive coordinator somewhere else where I can be in charge of everything and not coincide with Andy. No disrespect to Andy. I need to get away from him so I get a head coaching job.
You have to have your own thing.
Sure. So this guy takes all this credibility, this multiple Super Bowl winning coach, Eric Bieniemy, and goes to Washington. And what do we hear halfway through their training camp? He's too mean. He's hard. We don't like Eric Bieniemy because he yells at us. Are you fucking kidding me?
He's very tough on us.
That right there is a prime example of culture in a room.
Yeah.
And how it cheats your fans.
Yeah. It's
because it was Dan Snyder. That guy has so much bad karma. If he got butt polyps, he would deserve it. It's a horrible thing to say, but it's true. That megalomaniac up there finally is gone. But his residue will have to be cleaned out more. They gotta. So you're in Kansas City where everyone loves you. These badasses with the Chiefs because they got this great corporate culture.
Yeah.
You go to Washington where they don't have any, and well, he's an asshole. He screams at us.
I mean,
never heard that once in Kansas City.
This guy was battling through everything that we're going through, not just in Kansas City, but he was having success while doing it.
Right.
And somebody on the radio earlier this morning was saying, this guy's gone nose to nose with Patrick Mahomes and has 2 rings to talk about it.
Yeah.
If he says jump, you say how high.
Sure.
You know what I mean? There has to be something else other than what he's demanding. If there's attacking somebody's manhood, if there's coming after somebody's personal life, if there's something that he's saying that's demeaning in some way.
Yeah, you can't be racist or anything. But
exactly.
But
so
still.
there's got to be more to this sauce that we have in front of us.
If he were over the top,
right,
that would have come out in Kansas City. This is about how soft they are in Washington, mostly.
Or why don't you just handle that internally?
Or that. Well, and see,
you know what I mean?
Ron Rivera now is trying to clean that up because he's now come out and said, I stuck my foot in my mouth.
Right.
The way I worded that, it made it sound like it's way worse than it is.
It's not as bad as it is.
He's backtracking.
Because I think that first came out from, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe he was the first one to talk about it.
He was.
And so it's like,
he regrets it like, shit. Why
now I made him look bad. You know what I mean?
Right.
We don't have issues like that, yada, yada, yada. So it'd be interesting to see if there's any more information. if more information comes out from this about what actually was going on, or what was actually being said. And you got plenty of journalists in the DMV area. Somebody's going to find something.
Sure.
For sure. Not because, the amount of people that go to that area, not just to work in sports journalism, but to work in political journalism as well. Somebody knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody in the DMV.
Sure.
Who's going to have a conversation and find out more information.
And
not just who was saying it, but what was said as well.
And every great coach knows, and you've been around coaches.
Yeah.
When you're the new coach, you have to establish the rules. We don't make them as we go. Here are my rules. Follow them, and I'll get easier to deal with.
Set the tone.
It's like raising children.
Yeah.
You can't all of a sudden tell an 18-year-old, these are now the rules. You can't go out past 10. That had to start when they were 4 years old.
Right.
And that's what's going on in Washington. I like Washington. Not like as a fan. I think they're good.
Mm-hmm.
They can't find a quarterback to save their asses, but they've got an excellent defense, awesome skilled players. I love Ron Rivera, love Bieniemy.
Yeah.
They're one decent quarterback away from winning that division. It's just I just saw that. I've just been laughing my ass off a week. There's an example of one of the worst cultures in pro sports of the last 20 years. What's gone on under Dan Snyder and the trickle-down effect in that town with the football team. The opposite of that are the Spurs, who you have covered in your times here. Nick is in with us.
Yeah.
He has been a time-to-time guest with Locked On Spurs, the Kins 5 produced. That's why I keep mentioning them today, because you work with them sometimes. And has done a lot of stuff during the last season.
Yeah.
Which I alluded to this the other day with you. You're a better man than me.
I don't know about all that.
well, having to watch that thing.
Yeah.
So you can go do a post-game show and be competent while doing it.
It's tough.
I don't know how you did it.
I didn't do anything with them when it came to post-game shows and stuff. But as far as post-game analysis and stuff, not on air with Ken's, but
just club analysis here and there.
When it came to being a guest on Locked On Spurs.
That still meant you had to watch them and keep up with them. And
yeah.
I hosted a radio show in this city for 15 and a half years. I didn't watch any of their games last season. I mean, I saw highlights here and there.
Sure.
If I'm in a bar and they're on, maybe they're on over there.
Right.
Or maybe I'm flipping through the channels one night and I stop down for a couple of minutes and I'm like, Mamu Kishkishkili? I'm out. Gone.
Kelishvili.
Yeah, sure.
Mamu Kelishvili.
Sure. Good luck. Well, he plays for the Georgia national team. They're playing in the FIBA World Cup as we speak.
Yeah,
and thank God he's the only Spur. I don't want any Spurs playing there. I don't want anybody getting wrist. Obviously, next year, Wemby's going to have to play for Team France. The Olympics are in Paris, but that's fine.
Yeah.
But that all being said, so here we are embarking upon the Spurs. You and I have never talked Spurs before.
Sure.
Thoughts on these boys? I would argue this is the greatest off-season they've had maybe ever in their franchise. Like, seriously, like ever.
More than Duncan, more than...
I do, because
really?
they already had a good roster when they drafted Timmy.
Okay.
Right? Had David not gotten hurt, they would have not sniffed the lottery. They were very fortuitous. So it was basically we drafted Tim Duncan. I mean, that's what we did.
That was the offseason.
That's what we did.
Yeah.
And that was fun. This year you've got, I mean, and also coming off the job that Pop, once again, man, the GOAT, the true GOAT.
Yeah.
You know, you go from, I've got David Robinson and Tim Duncan, so now I've got kids whose name I can't even pronounce anymore. And my job now is to develop as many of these kids as I can in my 70s.
Right.
But also don't win too many games so we can get this kid from France maybe. The job Pop's done in the last couple of years is as good as any job he's done, I think, since he's been here. So Pop's now extended. I think it's probably added years to his life.
Sure.
It's certainly.
It's new energy.
He no way he wants to leave now. He's
Yeah.
got a 5-year extension. You got this kid coming in here, Wembanyama.
Right.
You have made a few guys on your team better. Can't wait to see how that looks with Wemby.
Yeah.
That might just make them get even more better.
Exactly.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Throw in the Frost Bank now, the new sponsorship.
Right.
They're opening up the Rock up at La Cantera. You got Michael Dell now owning 33% of the thing.
Yep.
Well, and I told you this earlier. When I moved here in 2007, the Spurs were the 10th most valuable franchise in the NBA per Forbes, that's damn good for the little old San Antonio market. They'll never sniff the top 5 or 6 because that's all New York, LA, Chicago. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if Dan Snyder owns the Knicks or Greg Popovich owns the Knicks. They're going to be in the top 5 valuable franchises because they're in New York. For the Spurs to be 10 was amazing, but it was obvious because they went to the championship every year. Now they're 19th. In 5 years, I bet you we're in the top 10 again.
I could see that.
Shit.
Yeah.
Next year, we'll be probably up to 15 just because of that kid.
Not only that, but the way in which the organization's moving forward. Because there's not only
As a
life from
whole.
him, exactly,
Yeah.
as you were just referencing. You know, there's so much more to this organization than it was just 8 months ago when I got here. there's so much more life in this city and more excitement behind it too. There's so many more people who are now buying season tickets again.
Yeah, I don't want you to move. I want you to stay at least until they get really, really good.
Exactly.
Again.
Yeah.
There's no feeling.
There's no like that
being in this town when they're kicking ass.
And that's what's so exciting about the time that I've spent here already. Is I got here when it was extremely bleak right before Christmas, and then started covering them and started doing Locked On Spurs this entire time, going into the later part of the season, going into the off season, and now doing it, now a little bit here and there now still to this day. And so it's really interesting to see that even when there's like some downtime and I'm like driving for Lyft or something, I'm picking up people around the city, I'll hear from them that there's like an added excitement, not just behind Wemby, but the decisions that the organization's making. Yeah. That makes people excited. The thought of going downtown, to be more centrally located, it should probably build a lot of craziness when it comes to traffic and parking and all that. We'll deal with that another time. Sure. But the fact that there's so much more to be invested into the team, it's not just, oh yeah, we have them, they're over there. By the train tracks, you just cross over, go down Commerce, you'll find them.
For long,
exactly.
They're going to be on the other side of 37.
So there's so much
new place is going to get built,
and it's really the excitement behind the organization. I think is what's giving more people in the city so excited. There's some hesitation to see how Wemby's going to do when he gets in, but at the same time, I think it builds people up to say, this is something we can look forward to. At least we want to go see his progression because maybe he won't drop 50 in his first game, but there's going to be excitement to know that he's growing within the game. Yeah, and he's already had professional experience, and this team is growing as a unit itself. Yeah, they're getting to know each other. They have a stacked, like overpopulated, crowded guard room right now. The amount of guards on that roster is insane. So who's moving around?
Some will,
and
soon, probably.
Some guys are probably some pieces that are to get another free agent to come in, and so it's going to be interesting to see how they keep on making decisions that are going to be positive for the organization. Because what Jeff and I have talked about on Locked On Spurs is that this last season almost was the entire game plan behind it was, say, Sohan goes off for 35, drops 35 and 10, right? The next day he has a sickness. He has something. Because the game plan was, Papa would probably never admit it. Probably take it to his grave because he never wants to have that, Sure. But the thought process behind it in being that we know there's a potential for us to get this number one pick. Yeah. We have to do everything we can in order to get there. Yeah. And so I think that was the game plan. The MVP of this last season for the Spurs was the injury list because it had such an incredible roster. The injury list was stacked because they made sure they had different guys throughout the season on that injury list. Like it was incredible. And so I think it got them to where they are today. And I think the city's revamped. It's really excited about it. Yeah. And just from talking to people about the Spurs altogether, I think it's an exciting time.
Big time. Yeah. I mean, and to bring it all back, like while we love the Cowboys. Sure. It's just there's no feeling because they are technically our only team outside of college football with the Roadrunners. They're only pro team. Yeah. The feeling when they're kicking ass is just nothing. It awesome. Feels cool. It's kind of it's got to be what people feel like in Green Bay, Wisconsin, when the Packers go to the Super Bowl. Even though it's a tiny town, the feeling's the same.
Right.
It's got a familial feel to it.
There was a little bit of a sense of it, a little bit taste of it when there was that game in the Alamo Dome with the Warriors and
there was sold it out.
It was incredible.
Just because
they
just sucked.
It was great to see that there was some excitement at least behind that.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, if that's the excitement just behind one game, what's the excitement behind an entire season of stuff like that?
They may not win 30 next year, but they're fun again. It's fun again.
Right.
And that's the reason I'll return.
Go back for the entertainment factor.
Well, I feel good about me again.
Right.
Absolutely. All right, dude. All right. Show also brought to you in part by Live Oak Vodka, the official vodka of Thunderdome. The distillery is down in Beeville, north of Corpus Christi, Texas. These boys got a 91 last year at the Ultimate Spirits Challenge of 2K22. It's Texas stuff. It's our vodka. It's Live Oak Vodka. Coastal Bend Distilling down in Beeville is where they make Live Oak Vodka. we're going to get down there at some point. If I keep speaking it, it'll turn into an existence.
We're going to make that happen for sure.
You guys are manifesting it at this point.
All right. We didn't get in everything I wanted to get into, but I've held you long enough, man. I appreciate you coming in, dude.
My pleasure.
I got crap I got to go do. That's the beauty of running your own stuff.
There you go.
You end when you want. You start when it's crazy. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, so what's next? You're just going to... Are you going to do some more? Do we know? Are you going to do some more Spurs stuff? What do you want to do?
There's some stuff in the works.
You going to mail it in and going to drive a truck? What do you want to do?
Hey, I mean, start throwing, like I mentioned in the last episode of being a strength coach, I like throwing weight around. If I got to go, do lumber or do something, I'll figure it out. But no, there's some people I'm talking to, not in town and stuff like that.
I'd like to have you back here from time to time.
That would be exciting.
If you want to.
If it works out with everything else and stuff like that, I think it'd be fun.
Thank you, Nick. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
All right, it's Nick Mantas. Be looking for him in the future. Just don't go moving anytime soon.
I'll try not to.
But it's a crazy life you live.
It is.
In that profession.
It is.
But don't be making her leave the Texas Tribune. Hopefully she'll continue to get raises and want to stay.
Exactly.
All right.
She's kicking ass. I got to keep her doing what she's doing.
All right, man. Thank you very much. All right, thanks to DJ LG. We'll see you boys in here on Friday. Love you hard. Thank you.
Come back, you puppy!
This program was made possible by contributions from viewers and listeners like you. Thank you.